talk about knives, shall we? Guys, it's a little bit cold out here today, but I'm very glad to be out in the woods. So yeah, I did decide to do a Bushcraft tools video, and I'm going to discuss cutting tools, my knives. And why am I doing this one? Because I do get quite a few questions about knives on YouTube, and I get questions on my Instagram feed as well. What knife are you using? Why do you like that knife? And we're all interested in knives. Most of us love them. Some of us collect them. I'm not really a collector myself, but I have a handful of knives that I like to use. And I was even scolded by SnapJohn100. He said I committed the cardinal sin of bushcrafter. I didn't talk about my knives. So I'm going to do that today. So stay tuned. I'm going to process some firewood, get a bit of a fire going, and take a seat and show you what I have. So grab a beverage, strap in. Maybe you'll see something you like. Alright, fire's lit. Coffee's on. Come on in for a closer look. Alright guys, thanks for sticking with me. So what you're seeing here is basically almost every knife I own. The one certainly that I would take out in the woods with me most often. So as I said, I don't really collect a lot of knives, but I do enjoy them. So let's start on this side. This knife here is the Knox Camper. Many people like to carry a Knox knife. I chose the Camper. Pretty nice blade, bottle openers, can openers, that type of thing. Corkscrew, and a really great awl. This awl not only will pierce the material, but as you're drilling the hole, it removes material because it has a cutting edge right here. Great little awl. I've used that for leatherwork, cutting through plastic. Another great feature on this is the saw. Now, the saw looks small, but it's not a toy. I've used it to clear small limbs when hanging tarps, hammocks. Does a great job. So this knife I would typically take on a backpacking trip, attach it to my belt on this lanyard with knots that slide so I don't lose it. If I did happen to drop it, the orange lanyard makes it easy to find. Easier. Knox Camper. Great little multi-tool. So next, maybe a little more capable, in my mind, is this Leatherman Charge. A couple of great blades that you can access one-handed. Has a really fantastic saw. A little thicker. I think it's actually a little better saw than the Knox, my opinion. It also has pretty good file, pliers, all that type of thing. Can opener, little screwdriver. So it's actually very capable, very useful. Using the tools on this knife, I have completely rehandled an axe. I was camping, needed to put a new handle on the head. I was able to do it using only this. That was pretty awesome. So moving on to Moras. Now everybody has Moras, and they just work. They do a lot of things, especially for the price that they cost. So the Mora Companion is one of their more popular models. Plastic sheath. They're about $20. Well worth it. I've modified this one a little bit for neck carry, as you can see. Put some Ranger bands on there so I could carry a fire steel. Very comfortable grip, rubber grip. I modified this further for a 90-degree spine so I can strike a ferro rod. Can't go wrong owning a Mora or 2 or 3. The companion model would indicate they think it's just something great to carry with you at all times. And there usually is one in my pack for a backup. Mora Companion. So Mora has a lot of different models. Here's one that I've had for a few years, the Mora 2000. It's a stainless steel model. Extremely comfortable grip. One of the more comfortable grips in a Mora. Good useful sheath, nothing fancy. Good retention. Now as you can see, the blade is thin, but it even gets thinner towards the tip. And with that, you get a kind of a funky grind. Here it's a Scandi, and it gets lower Scandi here. And I think the reason for that is you can use the meat of the knife to do your work, and you can use the tip of the knife for finer tasks, even up to using it to skin game. Pretty good little knife. A lot of people think Moras are fragile. I've bent a few, but they always spring back to shape. I've never broken one. So as I said, a lot of people think Moras are too fragile to use. I disagree, but Mora responded with this, the Mora Garberg. Comes in a different style of sheath. You can get this leather version, really high quality. Look at the work there. It's actually a very nice sheath. Comes in a plastic multi-mount version as well. So the Garberg is a completely different animal. This is the stainless steel version. They now have a carbon steel model. But this is a full tang knife with an exposed tang at the end. This tang is sharp as well, so you can use that to process wood, strike your ferro steel, whatever you need. Very comfortable grip. Rubber overmold or some sort of plastic. As you can see, it has a fairly high Scandinavian grind, but there's a significant secondary bevel. So I've been using this quite a bit over the last couple months, and I'm not sure how I like that secondary bevel. I may remove it at some point, try it with a single bevel. I like a polished bevel anyway, so I think I may just do that. And if I find it perform better with the secondary bevel, I'll put it back on. Very sharp spine on this. Strikes a fire steel better than most knives. It's probably the most expensive Mora. People complain about the price a little bit. They're about $120 in Canada, somewhere around $80 in the US. But I don't complain about the price. I think they're good value for the money when you consider there's probably 4 times the amount of steel in the Garberg compared to something like the Companion. This is a rat tang that ends somewhere around here. Both of them serve their purpose. for sure. If you just had the Mora Garberg, no other knives, I think you'd be well equipped, actually. So that's the Moras. So, you know, that's probably all you need. But eventually you want something a little bit nicer sometimes. Well, I did anyway. So, in comes this little guy. It's a Battle Horse Knives jump jack. Look at the leather in that sheath. Very thick, very well made sheath. Great workmanship. There's the Battle Horse Knives jump jack. Beautiful polished green micarta, brass lanyard, brass pins. This is A2 steel. There's the logo, BHK. Thick knife for the size. I could stand it to be a little bit thinner, but I'm certainly not complaining. Love this knife, super sharp. I got this on a trade, and I've been offered other knives, high-priced knives in trade, and I'm not letting this one go. Workmanship on Battle Horse Knives is excellent. I wouldn't hesitate to buy another one, that's for sure. It's a very useful little boat tail Scandi. It is carried around the neck by me, but you could certainly wear it on your belt as an EDC even. Battle Horse Knives. So next is a Bark River knife. When you're talking about, you know, modern bushcraft knives, there's basically two different styles. You get a woodlore style and a skookum bush tool style. The woodlore style was influenced and designed by Ray Mears. So this Bark River knife is the Aurora model, and it's based on a woodlore knife. Same kind of style. Their sheaths are pretty nice. This one here you can wear on your right side, or you can wear it on your left side horizontal, or it has a slight cant to it. So like a cross-body draw if you're right-handed. Pretty well designed sheath. So getting to the knife, like I said, it's a woodlore style. This one is a convex grind A2 steel. The scales are C-Tech, black C-Tech. I almost prefer a synthetic material for my scales. I don't have to worry about the elements as much. Nice Coke bottle design. These scales just melt in your hand. First convex knife I've ever owned. I'm getting used to it. I've had it for about a year and a half or so. Yeah, I like this one. They're certainly a premium knife company, and semi-custom. You could get this model in almost unlimited handle material and many different steels. This is A2. Bark River's standard offering is A2. It's a light knife, you know, it's very light. Really like it. If you're looking for a nice convex blade, look up Bark River. So I think I would get the most questions about this combination out of any knife I own. And I think it's because of the sheath. So the sheath is a Sagewood Gear Deluxe Scout Carry sheath. Sagewoods makes custom sheaths. Okay. All these components are removable, and you can change them around, so this sheath can be worn in different ways. So you can flip the loops around, flip this pouch to the other side. Even the snap can be switched around so that you can wear this on your right side horizontal, left side horizontal, or even in the small of your back, scout carry. Good thick leather. Stitching is amazing. All the components are high quality. The snaps are high quality. Little tinder pouch in there. Very happy with this knife sheath. Now these are custom to the knife. This sheath was made originally for a Tops Bob, which I no longer own. But I re-wet formed it to fit this knife. And it just fits like a glove. Now the knife that sits in it is a XXX Knives Privateer. This one is in a beautiful figured maple. Gorgeous. XXX is a Canadian company. Derek Tapin's the owner. He'll make anything you want. You can send him a drawing of a knife, he'll make it for you. His level of skill is high, I would say. This steel is called Canex 60. It's proprietary. I'm not sure exactly what that means. In practical use, I know it's very strong. Never had any problems with edge retention. Never had any problems with chipping or rolling with this knife, no matter what I do to it. Really enjoy this. It's the second XXX knife I've owned. I wouldn't hesitate to get another one. It's probably the biggest knife I own, and it's my workhorse, I would say. I'm not afraid to do anything to this. Well done. And I was glad I was able to modify this sheath to fit. So as I said, in modern bushcraft, there's two styles of knives. And there's the woodlore style. And the other was inspired by Moras, the Skookum Bush tool. So basically it met his specs for what he considered to be a perfect bush knife. And this knife is a Deering knife. And it's kind of based on a Skookum Bush tool, or the specs that Moras put forth. Well, Jonathan Deering is a one-man operation. Makes custom knives. Everything he does is perfect. This is 01 tool steel. It's very thin, 3/32. Distal taper down to the end to almost nothing. I'd say that's probably a 32nd. And what that does is make for a very light knife, well balanced. Just a joy to use. It's easily my sharpest knife, that thin profile. They're kind of difficult to get. As I said, he's a one-man operation. They're sold usually by auction. I was able to buy this from a friend on the secondary market. I was happy to get it. The Boreal model seems to suit my needs very well. My favorite knife, I would say. And the knives are perfect. The leather work is perfect as well. When you buy a Deering knife. Finishing is amazing. You won't find anything wrong at all. Its attention to detail is amazing. So there you go. That's what I take out with me in the woods. I had quite a few requests to do something like this. I don't really talk about my knives that much, but I thought I may do another video later on showing my other cutting tools, axes and saws. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see. If you have any more questions about these, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks, guys.